Welcome to Brace Y'all. My name is Noah Kavanaugh, and in today's video, I want to break down the three most important skills that you can learn in order to turbocharge your athletic and your professional career. Let's rock and roll. So the three skills come directly from a wonderful interview that I saw with Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins. These three things are pattern recognition, pattern use, and pattern creation. And I want to go through all three of those things today and show you during the course of my career as a professional athlete, as well as a professional content creator and personal brand, how those things influenced my trajectory and my growth. And hopefully this will help you in your world as well. Okay, so over to the whiteboard here, we're going to draw a big X and Y axis. Now on the X axis down below, this is time. Father time, mother time, however you want to say it, time. This is time to rock and roll. No, I'm just kidding. So this is time. And then on here, we are actually going to split it into just three different categories. So this is going to be patterns. Down here on the bottom, this is your first level. So recognition. So in this first quadrant here, we'll break this down so you guys can see it pretty easily. So in pattern recognition, this is the phase of your athletic career, your professional career, where you are developing the ability to see patterns. When you're really early on, or I was really early on in my soccer career, I was just focused on building skills. I was watching a ton of games, and I was just trying to absorb as much information as possible. So this is probably from about when I started, so I'll say 5 years old here, to maybe somewhere in here, which was about 12 years old. Some players have it earlier, some players have it later, so we'll block it off there. So this was my pattern recognition phase. And this pattern recognition phase was all about starting to develop an understanding of, I could see what types of formations were in football. I could understand particular moments in a game. It's like, okay, if a person is pressing me from straight on, these are the types of patterns that make for an effective outcome. These are the types of patterns that make for an ineffective outcome. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the idea here is that you are developing mental frames and mental maps for each part of the game, or in your work life, for my personal brand life, which I'll talk about in just a second. In your personal brand life, maybe it's what types of content is working really well. What types of content are other people doing that work really well? And that's the same on the pitch, right? So if I look at a left back, if I'm a 12-year-old Noah and I'm sitting and watching Barca play back in 2007, 2008, 2009, I'm looking at Dani Alves and going, okay, as a left back, as a right back, what are the movements that he's making? How am I recognizing those movements? This is a base building. And of course, they build on each other. So you got to keep that in mind as well. You can't be a pattern use guy, or you can't be a pattern creation guy without first doing pattern recognition. So next we move on to our second phase, which is pattern usage. So if we look at this, this is our pattern usage, and we'll go from roughly about 12 years. I'm only 30 right now, and in the course of the game, I probably spent the most amount of time doing pattern usage. So we'll probably go to right about there. So this is my pattern usage phase. Now, during the pattern usage phase, I found that now that I could recognize a bunch of patterns, and now that I could take all of that information, I could start to use particular patterns. So I could associate what a professional did as a left back or a wing back, and I could use that same movement pattern, use that same skill that I had recognized in my own game. And that's the next step of development. That's that next level. This in the business world is also really helpful. When you can recognize a bunch of patterns, you can start to use those patterns. So you guys right now are watching on the Brace channel, right? So I'm going to use the patterns that worked on the Noah Kavanaugh channel that I recognized and apply them to the Brace channel. And as I build other channels as well, that'll be the same concept. So because I've already gone through that recognition phase and I continue to now be super quick at recognizing it, I'll be able to now move that to whatever the next endeavor is in the same category. You might be a hockey player, let's say, and you have content around the day in the life of a hockey player and certain types of training methods and your strength work and your fitness work and things like that, you'll take that same thing once you retire to your business world, because you'll see the patterns that work. You'll see how you can garner attention. You'll see how you can build a personal brand around that hockey thing, and then you can take it and move it to a different sport, or you can move it into a business world. It's the same concept across it. And so this pattern usage phase is when you really start to see really good improvement. And I'll sort of show you a line in red once I finish with the final stage, which is now going to be pattern creation. Now, this is industry leader type shit. This is where we really get powerful. So this is kind of there, and then obviously we hope it moves forward. Now, pattern creation is you are a leader of industry. You are doing things that people are trying now to copy. So in the boot world, when I was doing boot reviews, that is something that I became. I became a pattern creator. It was the 1 month reviews. It was the play test things that really no one else was doing in the industry. Yeah, certain people were doing like a play test or whatever every once in a while, or they'd show a boot that had been worn. I was actually showing on camera me training and my first impressions in those boots. It was a live reaction. It was something that no one had ever done before, right? So I took all of the pattern recognition over on this side, then started to use it with some of the reviews in the on feet portion, because I saw that worked really well. And then I also saw in the other side of the world of car reviews and running shoe reviews, people wanted to see this new pattern applied and created in a different industry. And sometimes it's not just creating something out of thin air. Sometimes it's taking something from one place and creating it in a new industry. And that's the same when it comes to football. We look at guys like Pep Guardiola. He is all obsessed with tactical things and passing and making sure that every little micro movement is super unified and the team is perfectly coordinated, and it almost looks like a dance. It's like choreographed. But the Premier League didn't really ever see a player like that or a team like that or a coach like that prior. He was the pattern creator in that industry or in that league that he had taken from his Barca days. So he said, okay, it works on the Spanish side, a very much more technical game. Can it work in the German league? Can it work in the English league? And lo and behold, he became one of the most successful managers in the English Premier League and still is incredible, right? And so that is a pattern creation moment. And so I really hope that this video inspires you to not only just be patient and focus on the process to get through some of this pattern recognition phase so that you can get to the pattern usage phase, but it literally is just a volume game. So now if we look at the way that I have sort of moved through each one of these, at 5 years old, I was a little bit of a late bloomer. So I was something, okay, maybe there's a spike here, maybe there's a spike here, and then I kind of came up and then maybe was in pattern usage phase, did a really good job, and then maybe dipped back in here, and then here is when I started going crazy, and that's where you really want to be, in this high pattern creation phase. So obviously with this new endeavor, with Brace and with my consulting business, I'm going to probably sit somewhere in here now for the Brace business, or I'm a new line, a dotted line is starting this way because it's a new business. Yes, I have done what I do for my clients to myself and to other athletes in the space, but you get this idea. So as time moves on, you might roll through certain pattern usage phases or certain pattern creation phases, or even just pattern recognition phases. So I would encourage you, this video is just to show 3 super core skills that you want to constantly cycle through. You want to be in the pattern recognition phase for as little time as possible so that you can get to pattern usage and then get to pattern creation, because that's where the real leverage sits, right? If you look at, let's say, money investing, for instance, and I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not meant to be like financial advice, but when you can recognize patterns, you can like 1 to 2x something, or maybe it's like 1.1 to 1.3x something, or your impact on something. Whether money's an easy one, it's like you put $100 in and you get like $110 out or something like that. Pattern usage phase is when you see like 2 to 3x multiples, and then this is like 10x plus. And so when you are able to create patterns in the financial world, this is just an example, you're able to go crazy in terms of your return. It's the exact same when it came to my YouTube channel. When I started doing 1 month reviews, I started doing those videos that really captured people's attention and was creating a new pattern. That's when I really saw revenue go up, obviously inbound from companies wanting to do prototype testing with me, those types of things as well. So it's a massive, massive thing that I would highly recommend learning how to do each one of these, and you'll start to learn as you go through your athletic career or your professional career how to make these things happen and where you are on this graph. My name is Noah Kavanaugh. Stay dangerous, y'all. See you in the next one.